It's the numbers and the strings. We can learn how to be developers. And do so as we please. Welcome everyone. We're going to do some code review today. We're reviewing how to code using free code camps, implementation of Harvard's CS50 class. It's a free online course, so we're just gonna take it. Looks like you can do some certification as well. So let's start with responsive web design certification. This course teaches the fundamentals of HTML and CSS, including modern layout, design, accessibility, and responsive web development. You'll build practical projects and gain the skills to create professional, user-friendly web pages. To earn your responsive web design certification, man, do I know how to speak? To earn your responsive web design certification, complete the 5 required projects to qualify for the certification exam. Pass the responsive web design certification exam. That's the last step. Okay. So courses, we've got HTML, which is 302 steps to complete. We've got 16 steps of computer basics and 1,234, make a wish, of CSS, basic CSS, design. I love CSS, so that's going to be a hoot. And then we get the responsive web design certification exam. And then we can be certified. Hooray. Let's all say hooray. Okay, so how do I do this? Just go into the build a curriculum outline. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start with 1. Step 1. Welcome to Free Code Camp. Full stack curriculum. Learn the skills to become a full stack developer. Introduction to HTML. HTML represents the content and structure of a web page. Introduction to CSS. CSS is used to style a web page. Introduction to JavaScript. JavaScript adds interactivity to a web page. Let's start coding, guys. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's the code that defines the structure and content of a web page. This is your code editor where you will write HTML. Find line 1 in the editor and type this text. Welcome to free code. Oh, I guess it's under. I forgot the E. To free code camp, written in. Is that Python? Snake case? Welcome to Free Code Camp. When you are done, click the Check Your Code button to see if it's correct. Congratulations, your code passes. Build a curriculum outline, 5% complete. Okay. I'll submit and continue. HTML is made up of elements. The first one you will use is the H1 element. Yep. Starts with an opening tag, H1, ends with a closing tag, H1, and has the text. It will display in between the tags. Turn your Welcome to Free Code Camp text into an H1 element by adding an opening tag in front of it and closing the tag after it. We're going to check our code, and it's good. Notice that the HTML you write in the editor shows up in the preview. Yep, that's pretty nice. This is like really basic. Below your H1 element, type the following on the empty line. This is probably going to be an H2, but it only says full stack. What did I do? I'm just going to copy it and paste because, oh, and I can hit Command Enter on a Mac, probably Control Enter on a Mac. Okay, now turn it into an H2. And check our code. And then submit and continue. Learn the skills to become a full stack developer. Below the other two lines of text, add, and enter, submit and continue. We're going to make this a P element. And check our code. Congratulations. There are 6 heading elements in HTML. H1 through H6. They're used to show important sections of your web page, with H1 being the most important and H6 the least. Below your P element, add an H3 heading with the text Introduction to HTML. So, oops, we're going to say H3 Introduction H3. Cool. Check our code. Submit and continue. Notice that each heading looks a little different in the preview, same with the paragraph. Next, add another P element that displays the following text. Now, do we get auto completion? No. This is not AI assisted developing. This is just code and like letters and stuff. Okay, introduction to CSS. Now you're getting the hang of it. Thank you. Next, add another H3 element. At the bottom of the editor with the text Introduction to CSS. While HTML microphone's falling off. Might have to sit closer. Making all this noise. Creak. All right. How is that? I guess that's fine. I'm just gonna have to sit up. All right. Sorry, technical difficulties. So, where were we? We're in Chrome. Introduction to CSS. We just did this H3. Below the H3 you add another paragraph. It's on another line that's gonna bug me, but whatever. Oh, it fixes it for me. Become a supporter, remove the interruptions. Oh, I would love to do that, but I'm not. So we're gonna sit here and watch the interruption for a little bit. Oh, so nice. Ask me later. Ask me later when I'm employed at an awesome tech job because I reviewed code and it made me a better programmer. Okay, finally, JavaScript makes your web page interactive. It lets you tell the page what to do when someone clicks a button, submits a form, or many other things. For the last step of the workshop, add another H3 and P element to the page describing JavaScript. First, add an H3 element with the text introduction to JavaScript. Then below that, add an H3 element add a P element paragraph tag with the following text. JavaScript adds interactivity to a web page. Perfect. Check the code. Oh, it should have the text. Oh, look at that. Interactivity. And congratulations. We passed. Nice. Debug. What's that line for? So that's where I'm supposed to be? But I didn't finish all these. Debug Camperbot's profile page. Camperbot is trying to build a profile page. Ooh, that was loud. Camperbot is trying to build a profile page. They ask a friend to look over their code and they said it has some errors. Your job, should you choose to accept it, is to fix all of Camperbot's errors so they can continue building their profile page. Complete the items in the user stories below and click Run the Tests to see if you fixed all the errors. User stories. Number 1. Camperbot is trying to use a heading to element, but that element does not exist. Fix those tags so it uses a correct second level heading element. Camperbot is trying to add 2 paragraphs with PP, but those don't exist either. Fix them so they use the correct paragraph tags. And number 3, Camperbot is using an H3 element for the background and interest subheading, but it has a syntax error. Spot the issue and resolve it. The tests are: number 1, you should have exactly one H1 element on the page. Number 2, you should remove the H1 hello from Camperbot H1 element from the page. You should have exactly one H2 element on the page. You should have an H2 element. I'm done reading those. Let's figure out if we can do the user stories. Camperbot is trying to use a heading to element. Where's the heading to element? This needs to be an H2. And I can Command D on a Mac, probably Control D on a Mac to select the next instance of that and delete them both at the same time. Now we got a PP. Let's get those going and just name that P. And Camperbot is using an H3 element with this syntax error. / needs to go in front of there. And these need cleaned up. Now, let's see. One H1. Don't remove. Exactly one H2 with the text about. You should have paragraph element. Yeah. You should have the paragraph element. Yeah. 2 paragraphs. Okay, let's try. Hooray! Submit and go to next challenge. Command enter. Perfect. I don't know what that blue line is. What role does HTML play on the web? HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is a markup language for creating web pages. When you when you visit a website, when you visit a website and see content like paragraphs, headings, links, images, and videos, that's HTML. Here is a small example using HTML elements. Try editing some of the text in the editor and see the changes update in the preview window. H1, main heading element, H1 P, I'm a paragraph element. Cool. HTML represents the content and structure of a web page through the use of elements. Most elements will have an opening tag and a closing tag. Sometimes those tags are referred to as start and end tags. In between those two tags, you will have the content. This content can be text or other HTML elements. Here is another example of a paragraph element. Change the text in the editor to say, I love coding, and see the results in the preview window. P, I am a paragraph element. I can edit these. No, I can't edit them. Uh-oh, I can't once out. Oh, interactive editor. Okay, so this is just information that we just need to go through. Let's see. HTML, HTML. Both opening and closing tags start with a left angle bracket and with a right angle bracket. HTML tag names are case sensitive. It's a widely accepted convention and best practice to write them in lowercase. Getting really bored reading this. This is really intro stuff, and while it's necessary, it's stuff that I learned a while ago. I don't want to read it because I'm impatient. And I'm just clicking buttons. Okay. What distinguishes an opening tag from a closing tag is the forward slash. Forward slash placed immediately after the left angle bracket in a closing tag. Some HTML elements do not have a closing tag. These are known as void elements. Here's an example of an image element, which is a void element, the image tag. Notice that this image element does not have the closing tag and it does not have any content. Void elements cannot have any content and only have a start tag. Sometimes you will see void elements that use a forward slash before the ending angle bracket or the right angle bracket, like this. While many code formatters, like Prettier, will choose to include the forward slash in void elements, the HTML spec states that the presence of the forward slash does not mark the start tag as self-closing, but instead is unnecessary and has no effect of any kind. In real-world development, you will see both forms, so it is important to be familiar with both. If you wanted to display an image, you will need to include a couple of attributes inside your image element. An attribute is a special value used to adjust the behavior of an HTML element. Here is an example of an image element with a source attribute. Update the value of the source attribute to https://cdn.freecodecamp.org/curiculum/cat-photo-app/cats.jpg. The source attribute is used to specify the location for that image. For image elements, it's good practice to include other attributes. Include another attribute called the alt attribute. The alt attribute is used to provide short, descriptive text for the images. Here's an example of an image element with the source and alt attributes. Try breaking the image by updating the source values to a bad link, and you'll see the image disappear and only the alt text show. So if you might be wondering if HTML by itself is enough to build a website, well, the answer is it depends. If you're building a small practice project that only displays text and images, HTML alone might be sufficient. However, if you're creating a modern, professional website, you will need to have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is for the content and structure, CSS is for styling, JavaScript is for adding interactivity to your web pages, and a good analogy for this is to compare HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with a complete building. HTML represents the blocks, concrete, and irons that make up the walls. It's the foundation that makes the building strong. CSS represents the interior and exterior design that makes the house look beautiful. JavaScript represents the electrical and water system that ensures uninterrupted access to water and electricity. What does HTML stand for? Hypertext Markup Language. Which of the following is the correct syntax for a closing tag? Right there. Which of the following is a valid attribute used inside an image element? Source. That's it. Check your answer. Perfect. Let's go. More reading. What are attributes and how do they work? How fast can I read this? All right, let's see. I think I'm going to make it a little bigger for you guys. Yeah. How's that? All right. So, what are attributes and how do they work? All right. So let's go through this. How fast can I read this? An attribute is a value placed inside an opening tag of an HTML element. Attributes provide additional information about the element or specify how the element should behave. Here is the basic syntax for an attribute. Element, attribute equals value. And then the closing element. I don't want to read those. Can we just look at them? Boo, look at that. That's so great. The attribute name is followed by an equal sign and a value in quotes. The value can be a string or a number depending on the attribute. This first example uses the href and target attributes. The href attribute specifies the URL of a link, and the target attribute specifies where to open the link. Note, the A element, also known as the anchor element, is used to create hyperlinks. The text between the opening and closing A tags is the clickable part users select to navigate. Enable the interactive editor and change the href equals https to, so we're not going to the news page, we're just going to the home page. Now when you click on the link to the interactive editor, you will see FreeCodeCamp homepage in the new browser tab. Perfect. Without the href, the link would not work because there would be no destination URL, so you must include this href attribute to make the link functional. The target equals blank underscore blank enables the link to open in a new browser tab, and you'll learn more about target attributes in a future lesson. So other common attributes are the source and alt or alternative or attribute or alternative attribute. Alternative text, alt text, alt, which is used to specify the source of an image and provide alternative description text for the image respectively. So src is the source where the image is found, and alt is the descriptive text for screen readers. Enable the interactive editor and change that to that. Similar to the href attribute, the src attribute is required because it specifies the image file to be displayed. Accessibility means making sure that everyone, including those with disabilities, can use and understand things like websites, apps, and physical spaces. That's pretty important. Glad we're learning about that later. Some attributes are a little unique with their syntax, like the checked attribute. Okay, so let's do this one. Oh, yeah, okay. So I needed to change what again? Change the cats to running cats. Save file folder. Yep. Okay, and then change the alt to two tabby kittens, two cats running in the dirt. Cats running in the dirt. Cool. We did it. Yay! And if we right click on it and inspect it, then it'll say two cats running in the dirt. Oh. See? Hooray! Okay. All right. Similar to the href attributes. Okay, can I go now? All right. So input checked in the following example. All right. Enable it interactive editor and try clicking on the checkbox. Boop. And then refresh. In the preview window, see it alternate between checked and unchecked state. Unchecked. Why is it not updating? I guess maybe I have to open the sandbox. And then it's unchecked, so I click checked. Why is this not? So that's funny. Okay, well, it should change. In the following example, we have that. Okay, that is such a developer term. Well, it shouldn't do that. Or, well, it should do that. So let's move on. In the following example, we have an input element with the type attribute set to checkbox. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Same. Inputs are used to collect data from users. Type allows you to specify the type of input. This is a checkbox. Enable the interactive editor and try removing checked attribute. Can we just, let's just go and answer the questions. Because this is a review, right? You don't have to agree with me. This is what we're doing. Which of the following is an example of a Boolean attribute? Well, this is going to be disabled because it's yes or no. This, and that's what Boolean means, positive or negative, yes or no, just on or off. Source is going to be a specific place, href is a specific place, and alt is text. So disabled is just the yes and no. What is the role of an attribute in HTML? Attributes provide additional information and help define the behavior for HTML elements. That's pretty good. Attributes change the background color, specifically sometimes. Attributes change the font size, specifically sometimes. Attributes add JavaScript functionality to an element, specifically sometimes if you use the script tag. Which of the following is the correct syntax for a Boolean attribute? Well, okay. So Boolean attribute we decided later was that checked. Is checked. Nope, it's the checked and unchecked. Right? Yep. Boom. No. See? Doesn't do anything. We could say 0 even. 1. Nothing. Checked. Unchecked. Don't write that. Where were we? Okay, checked. Check your answers. Perfect. Submit and go to next challenge. Debug a pet adoption page. Sally, a pet adoption store owner, has built her first web page, but there are some issues. Your job is to fix all of the errors so Sally can continue building her page. Cool. Are we getting paid? Fulfill the user stories below and get all the tests to pass to complete the lab. The user stories. Sally wants to use an image of some cats, but it is not displaying correctly. You will need to fix the following in the image element. Let's see if we can figure it out before she does. href, https, okay, alt, alt, 2 tabby kittens sleeping together on a couch. What's wrong with this? Okay. Replace the href attribute with the correct attribute for the image source. Image. This is not href because it's not a link. It's source. Perfect. Adopt a cat. A. Href. Visiting cats page. A. Href. Visiting dogs page. Boop. Oh, normally this link would bring you to another website. It works. This is a link to freecodecamp.org/cats. I want to see if, okay, we're going to copy link address and just go to it. Nice. Okay, whatever. Oh, okay. Click OK. Click into here. Now check my code. Your image element should not have an image closing tag. Ah. Yes. I didn't check the image tags, bum. Correct. Okay. Understanding the HTML boilerplate. What is the role of the link element in HTML? Okay. Let's learn about the link element and how to use it to link to external style sheets. The link element is used to link to external resources like style sheets and site icons. Here is the basic syntax for the link element for an external CSS file. Cool. The rel attribute is used to specify the relationship between the linked resource and the HTML document. In this situation, we need to specify that this linked resource is a style sheet. It is considered best practice to separate your HTML and CSS in different files. Developers will use the link element for their external CSS file instead of writing everything in the HTML document. The href attribute is used to specify the location of the URL for the external resource. The dot followed by a / in the example tells the computer to look in the current folder or directory for the styles.css file. The link element should be placed inside the head element as seen in the following example. Head, meta charset equals UTF-8, meta, name equals viewport, content equals width equals device dash width, initial dash scale equals 1.0. Title, examples of the link element. Link, rel equals style sheet, href equals /styles.css. Closing head tag. Oftentimes you will see multiple link elements inside a professional code base that link to different style sheets, fonts, and icons. Here's an example of using the link element to link to an external Google font. Here is an example of using the link element to link to an external Google font called Playwright Cuba. Link, rel equals preconnect, href equals http://fonts.googleapis.com. Link rel equals preconnect, href equals http://fonts.gstatic.com, cross origin. Link, href equals https://fonts.googleapis.com /css2 family equals playwright plus cu wgt at 100 ... rel equals style sheet. Google Fonts are a set of free and open source custom fonts that you can use inside any project. You can choose which fonts you would like to use, and Google will provide you with the necessary HTML and CSS code. In this example, the preconnect value for the rel attribute tells the browser to create an early connection to the value specified in the href attribute. This is done to speed up loading times for these external sources. Another common use case for the link element is to link to icons. Here's an example of linking to a favicon. A favicon, which is short for favorite icon, is a small icon typically displayed in the browser tab next to the site title. A lot of websites will use a favicon to display their brand icon. What is the role of the link element in HTML? It specifies the connect type of the linked resource. It determines the visibility of the linked resource on the web page. It defines the font size of the linked resource when displayed. It is used to link to external resources like style sheets and site icons. That's the one. What is the role of the rel attribute inside the link element? It is used to indicate the language of the linked document. This preconnect value for the rel attribute. Rel. Used to specify the relationship, stands for relationship, between the linked resource and the HTML document. So it is the relationship. So it is used to indicate the relationship between the linked resource and the HTML document. Define the media type, used to determine size. What is a favicon? A small icon typically displayed in the browser tab next to the site title. Check it out. In my shoes, my toes are busted. Where did we go? We went to another page. Let's learn about the HTML boilerplate. What is the HTML boilerplate, you ask? Stop scrolling. Oh. It's like a ready-made template for your web pages. Think of it as the foundation of a house. A boilerplate includes the basic structure and essential elements every HTML document needs. It saves you time and helps ensure your pages are set up properly. Here's an example. That's a boilerplate. I don't want to read it. Can we just go? Let's break down the key parts of this boilerplate. First, there is the doc type declaration. It's at the very beginning. It tells browsers which version of HTML you're using. This one is just using basic HTML, not HTML5. Wraps around all your content, so you can specify the language of your page inside the HTML. Like English. You'll find two main sections, a head and a body. Head is where important metadata goes, and the body is where the page things go, like headings, paragraphs, images. The head section contains important behind-the-scenes information, like the title, SEO stuff. Your site's metadata contained in the meta elements has details about things like character encoding or how websites like Twitter should preview your page's link. Your site's title, found in the title element, determines the text that appears in your browser tab or window. Finally, you'll typically link your page's external style sheets in the head section using link elements. The body section is where all your content goes. Now, why is a boilerplate important? It ensures your pages are structured correctly and work well across different browsers. Using a boilerplate helps you avoid common mistakes and follow best practices. It's a great starting point for any web project. Remember, you can customize your own boilerplate to fit your needs. As you gain experience, you might add your own preferred elements or meta tags. As you continue to improve your personal boilerplate, you'll find that it saves you time when starting new projects. Next time you start a new HTML file, consider using a boilerplate. It will definitely give you a solid foundation to build on. Where would you set the character encoding for your page? A meta element in the body, a head element in your body, a meta element in the head, or in the doc type? I think that's in the doc type, right? Or the wait, what? Oh, it's a meta. Meta charset, which is in the head. A meta element in the head. Where would you set the language of your page? In the opening HTML tag. What purpose does a boilerplate serve? It provides a starting structure for your websites. It ensures you're not missing any essential elements and allows you to get started writing the content of your page faster. So, cool. UTF-8 or UCS transformation format 8. Ooh, UCS transformation format 8 is what UTF-8 stands for. What's UCS stand for? That's not pertinent information right now. It's a standardized character encoding widely used on the web. Character encoding is the method computers use to store characters as data. Essentially, all text on a web page is a sequence of characters stored as one or more bytes. In computing, a byte is a unit of data consisting of 8 bits, or binary digits. UTF-8 supports every character in the Unicode character set, and this includes characters and symbols from all writing systems, languages, and technical symbols. Here's an example of using the meta element with the charset attribute to set the character encoding to UTF-8. By setting the character encoding to UTF-8, it will ensure that the accented E character, E with the tilde at the top, is displayed correctly on the page. Here's an extended code example of using the UTF-8 character encoding. For each new project you create, you should include this meta element with the char set attribute set to UTF-8. Which attribute is used to set the UTF-8 character encoding for HTML documents? The meta tag. Oh wait, char set. It's that they asked for that attribute, not the tag. Silly me. What is character encoding? A method computers use to store characters as data. A way to compress text files. That's kind of true, but maybe not quite so true. Doesn't determine the font. It's not spoken language. Excuse me. How many bits are inside of a byte? 8, because UTF-8. Where does it say that? A byte is a unit of data consisting of 8 bits. Yeah, see? Boom. Okay. 18 of 137 steps, guys. Now we need to build a cat photo app. I need to be right back. Should I do this? Let's go to stickies. Zoom, collapse, and collapse. Boop, boop, boop. Pause, break. Well, but actually, let's just end that there for today. And we'll start again building the cat photo app on the next stream. Bye, guys.